Fortnite is a game where it can take 20-30 minutes to play a game, and so there's a lot of conversation happening up until you start fighting someone or encounter someone, and then like you'll fight, and then after that the conversation will pick up. um so a Fortnite, a Warzone game, or really any game that has long like missions or anything like that, that's very simple just to have a conversation, because if you know like, oh, this person's kind of like a decent human being, they're kind of nice and they want to like just talk, like they most of the time they'd probably be willing to play 2 or 3 games or more with you, just because like hey, I'm here going to play anyways, might as well play with someone that's nice. And one of the things that crew teaches is just a simple question: hey, what's your spiritual background? And so when I go into a video game, I simply just I start off just being nice to people, asking them questions about, have you played this game long? How often do you play? If it's like usually if it's like a kid, like a teenager, I'll say, is this all you do on the weekends? And they may say, what do you mean, like just play video games? I'm like, yeah, or like do you hang out with your friends or whatever? And usually they say, yeah, I'll hang out with my friends, or I play a sport, I do whatever. And then I just simply go, oh, your parents don't make you go to church? Or and they're like, yeah, sometimes. And I just like, that opens up the door for a conversation. And I just simply say, yeah, my parents made me go to church all the time growing up. So from there, like just honestly to see where the conversation leads. And at some point, if the conversation hasn't if like we're kind of tiptoeing around the idea of spiritual things, whatever, I just will simply say, so what is your spiritual background? Like, have you grown up in church? What do you know about Jesus? That kind of stuff. And it's really just having intentional conversations. I've only ever had so far one person semi-negative response, have a semi-negative response to me. And that semi-negative response was, I think I asked, it was like 2 people I was playing a Fortnite game with, and someone said something. I think I said, so what's your spiritual background? Like, you go to church, whatever? And this guy was like, that's kind of a weird question to ask in Fortnite. I was like, is it? I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm a missionary. That's my job. So I always talk to people about their relationship with God. So I don't know. I guess it's not weird for me. Is it weird for you? And he's like, I guess not. So, I mean, so I looked this up a while back when I was starting this like a year ago. A lot of people are afraid to share the gospel because there's a fear of getting rejected, obviously. Specifically like in person, fear of getting rejected, fear of not knowing enough, fear of saying something wrong. um, and so like when you're gaming, you don't know the person, you don't even know their real name sometimes unless you ask it, and you can or you cannot, whatever. So you obviously, there's no social fear of like, oh, this is a popular guy, or this is a guy that is cooler than me or looks different than me, or a girl that, whatever. So there's, all you have is a person's voice and their demeanor, the way they interact with you. And so playing video games and sharing the gospel, and to me, eliminates a lot of those pushbacks against sharing the gospel or fears of sharing the gospel, because you don't know the person. You can literally, if you're on a console, you can just set up your computer and or get your phone and get God tools out, just have it sitting there and just have ideas for you to have conversations. Or I think one time I literally went through God tools with someone. Like, I didn't tell them what I was doing. I just went through God tools with someone. Like, I just had it sitting there. And I just moved on to the next one. And that was actually, I actually remember that night. That was a really cool night. Really, it's mainly like in your mind, and it's like just a thing with the enemy. Like the night that I met that kid, who I mentioned before that we went and met in Indianapolis, I almost wasn't going to get online and talk with people simply because I was just struggling with negative thoughts or bad thoughts related to what I was doing. That I'm weird for doing this. I'm weird for trying to meet young people and do this. People are gonna think I'm creepy, or but I was simply like, you know what? There are people in video games, kids, teenagers, adults, who need to hear the gospel, and I feel like God is sending me to them. I may not ever talk with them again. So if so like I'm gonna bring up the conversation if I can, and I want to try to add them as a friend and play with them more. If someone's like worried about, well, if I just get in this game, no one's gonna want to talk to me. That's just simply not true. Like a lot of people play it because they're trying to escape like their reality, their world, or they just they just enjoy the game. But either way, like there are plenty of people willing to have conversation if you make the conversation about them and what they like, who they are. I'm good at like doing counseling through video games. Like I'm good at just asking people questions and just getting deeper through specific and intentional questioning. Like, and that's it, because it's almost like helping them realize, if I can help them realize that they need Jesus rather than me just tell them they need Jesus, that'll probably go a lot longer way, and they'll probably appreciate me more than me just. And I honestly, I will come out of it feeling better than feeling like I'm like a street preacher, a virtual street preacher, like just saying you're going to hell, you like, oh, you're a sinner, that kind of stuff, which I don't do that. But it's like I would rather help a person realize they need Jesus and then give them the solution to their need, to their sin need, rather than like just go in, try to like build a relationship for the sake of getting to the solution of just sharing the gospel, but like come in here and genuinely get to know them and kind of like be their guide. You know, ultimately, whatever it is they're going through, like the answer is Jesus. And so it's like kind of strategically guiding that conversation as I make the conversation about them. Like as we all should, I'm just trying to allow God to permeate every area of my life. And like I play video games, so this is how this all started, is because I was playing video games. I felt like I was either gonna have to give it up or let God be a part of it. And I was like, okay, God, I'll let you be a part of it. What does that mean? And then like a week later, someone asked me, why do you believe the Bible? Just randomly. And so then I was like, okay, I'll just start doing this.